Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Sell More Book Show, episode 619. I'm Brian Cohen from Best Page Forward. We had a guest planned for today. Unfortunately, there were some internet troubles, and so I'm going solo today, and we will have that guest hopefully back for next week. We have a webinar coming up very, very soon on Thursday, February 26th, called How to Sell More Books from the Ground Up. We're going to be talking about blurbs. We're going to be talking about keywords. We're going to be talking about covers. You are going to love it. Go check it out in our show notes for episode at sellmorebookshow.com or in the Sell More Book Show After Party Facebook group. We had a question a couple weeks ago, which was, what is the first step you can take to establish a regular email schedule? Bethany Tucker said, tell your friend you're going to do it and have an accountability meeting once a month where they ask you. You bet it's been getting sent out on time ever since we started those meetings. Already done. Accountability is huge, you guys. No question, accountability makes a huge, huge difference. Get an accountability partner. It could be a friend. It doesn't even need to be an author. You can hold them accountable for something. I love this, Bethany. Great thought there. And Shane Kowalilak said, get off my lazy, procrastinating butt. He did not say butt. Off Facebook and send an email. That would be a great start. It is so easy to get sucked up in the socials, sucked up in the annoying things that are just so addictive on our phone. Turn the phone off, put it on airplane mode, put it on focus mode. Just get it out of the room that you're in, and that will help. So guys, you can always answer the question of the week at sellmorebookshow.com or in the Sell More Book Show After Party Facebook group. Top story of the week, Indies Go Indie. 1 year ago, we reported that BookShop.org, the online service that supports and enables online indie bookstore sales, had begun to sell traditionally published ebooks. Now we're happy to report that self-published authors can publish their ebooks to BookShop.org via a new partnership with Draft to Digital. Quote, last week we announced an exciting new ebook distribution agreement with BookShop.org, says Draft to Digital in their latest newsletter. This retail partnership had been in the works for quite some time, and we're thrilled to finally share it with you. Bookshop.org currently helps more than 3,400 independent bookstores across the US and UK compete in an online world dominated by giant corporations, and now they're enabling individual authors to participate too. Your readers can support you and their favorite store by making online purchases using their preferred store's Bookshop link, or by selecting their favorite store themselves, giving their preferred store 100% of the profit. For authors, it means you'll still earn your 60% ebook royalty just like you do with other D2D retail partners. You will be asked this the next time you log into Draft to Digital. You can do all your books or each individually. If you have print books, your paperbacks might have already been available on Bookshop through Draft to Digital, KDP, or Ingram. So things you can do, tell your readers that your books are there, show them using the bookshop.org free ebook app. Quote, simply saying my books are now available at bookshop.org isn't enough, says Draft to Digital. Do your readers a favor by showing them exactly where they can find it and purchase your books by using direct hyperlinks. There is also a Bookshop affiliate program to earn an extra 10% when someone buys a book that you share. Love this, especially if you are wide with your ebooks. It's a great way to potentially support indie bookstores. We need indie bookstores. We don't necessarily need to give all of our hard-earned money to these folks that are giant corporations. So I think that if you are thinking about going wide, having your books wide, this feels like a really cool potential thing that also is supporting indie bookstores. Indies supporting indies. I don't think anything can go wrong with this. So a hot potato wisdom question here is, do you think it's worth the time to educate your readers about using BookShop to support more local bookstores? Now, I think that it depends on your brand. If you have always put yourself forth as a person who supports indies, who supports independent art, it totally makes sense. If you are trying to already promote 7 things and you don't want to add one more thing to your plate, I think it's absolutely fine to push this off. A little bit. So take your time. You don't have to do it all, but if this is part of your brand where you are always saying indies, supporting indies, this might be an interesting thing to try, especially if you are wide. Now, what creative ways have you seen authors use to encourage readers to buy from a service or store they're not used to or familiar with? I think going live is probably the most creative way to help people change behavior, because some people just need to see it. They need to see your screen share. It makes me think about when I've done Kickstarter campaigns and I've launched the Kickstarter live. Pardon me with the cough drop here. Launch the Kickstarter live so that folks can see it, so that they can see it. So I think seeing is believing with this. If you are going to try to get readers to change behavior, this is the best way to do it, by showing them a demo. Sharing your screen in a Zoom is super, super easy. Let's go into the lightning round here. Chicka chow. Here we are. So, Brian, do you think that the issue with KDP payments going down, KU sales going down by 9% in KENP in the month of January means we should all drop out of Kindle Unlimited? This is a good question. Whenever you see money go down at a place, you need to pay attention. Now, as my former co-host, Claire Taylor, used to say, it's not a good idea to make decisions with emotions. And I think that a lot of people in the month of February are likely to make decisions with emotions from all of this. I highly, highly recommend that you take your time on this one. You think it through. There are some genres that tend to sell better in Kindle Unlimited, and there are some authors that tend to do better when they have fewer things to focus on. If you're really good at focusing on a lot of things, or you know that there are people in your genre who do well wide, hey, you could go wide, you could sell on bookshop.org a little bit, right? But here's the thing. It's not a guarantee that you are going to sell better wide or on Kindle Unlimited. What you have to do is you really have to do some digging. And digging means avoiding making the emotional decisions here. So I want you to take your time before you make any big decisions. The other thing to keep in mind here, we'll ask this as another question. Brian, does the KU payouts going down by 9% in the month of January mean that all is lost? Let's take a step back here, my friends. Let's look at the facts. The fact is that December 2025 had a historically high KU payout. And that made it so that when you had the setting, base this on last month's KENP, the royalties on the royalties estimator were being based on just a KU payout that was not likely to happen. I saw some authors who knew this saying, I knew that things were going to go down. And we can't have blinders on all the time. We need to have an idea of what's going on here. So, is the fact that January wasn't the highest payout per page ever something to worry about? I don't think it is something to worry about. Do I think Amazon could make the payout higher if they wanted to? Yes, I do. But because of the way the system is set up, we all had an idea of what that payout was going to be. And then it got adjusted, which meant that not only did last month's payout seem less or go down by 9% if you're in KU, but because February was based on the January estimated payout, which was going to be higher because of December. It made it feel like a month and a half of sales go down. But the important part is it made it feel like that. January's payout was actually still pretty decent. There were times where the payout has dipped below 0.4 cents per page. This was not the case. It was not below 0.4 cents per page. So I, for one, especially with authors that we work with in our author ad agency, that we work with Best Page Forward, they work with our coaching programs. I'm not going to recommend anybody get out of KU because of this. There could be perfectly valid reasons why you might get out of Kindle Unlimited. Let's go down this path. What are some valid reasons for getting out of Kindle Unlimited? Now, some people will say because Amazon is a mega monopoly. Now, I get this. I absolutely get not wanting to support the behemoth. And I know that some people have not wanted to support Amazon due to political situations and beliefs and actions of certain people in the company. Are these reasons to potentially boycott or take your books out or any of that? I think a lot of that is personal, right? I think a lot of that is, do you think that doing this is going to harm the company at large? Do you think that this is going to harm you? And that's what we have to think about. Will making a decision in this direction harm you more than it will the company? And unfortunately, because Amazon is where a lot of people buy their books, there are some situations in which it might harm you more. And that's what I don't want. Look, I talk to folks about this all the time. I desperately, desperately want every single person that we come into contact with at Best Page Forward, the Sell More Book Show, to be more profitable. And I worry that if, and I've come into contact recently with some authors that aren't in Amazon at all. They've decided to not be in Amazon at all. And it's tough because 90% of the book sales come from Amazon generally. And so I just want everybody to be careful, take their time, think things through. Because one of the things I've noticed is that folks who have at times been all in on Amazon and have grown in a big, big way, eventually they were able to get their control. They were able to make enough, build enough of a following, build a big enough email list where they had more choice over the situation. And they made a business decision, not based on emotion, but based on where the dollars were for many, many years, so that they could eventually get to the point where they were able to call the shots. And I think that you deserve to get to a point where you get to call the shots. So we have 2 questions left here, and I've kind of gone off script here just to keep going down this lightning round with the latest thing. So, Brian, when would we know if the KU situation is getting worse? So, one of the things that you can do to kind of protect yourself here, when you are looking at your royalties estimator on Amazon, looking at the reports there is a setting where you can say assume a decrease. If you say assume a decrease instead of base it off of last month's, you will always see an underestimate of your royalties, or at the least, an accurate estimate of your royalties if things go down. This is a good way to avoid being surprised. This is a good way to escape the potential that things will not go the way you want. Now, if this kind of thing happens over and over, where we hear, oh, the payout's lower than expected, the payout's lower than expected, the payout's lower than expected, that is definitely something. If something happens once, I'm not necessarily putting it down as a pattern. If something happens 3 times, we need to pay deep and close attention to it. And so you want to look for something that happens 3 consecutive times, and you want to base it on data. The January payout, to my knowledge, January 2026 payout was higher than January 2025. So year on year, there is an improvement, even if month to month there was not. And so putting in the assume a decrease is going to be helpful. Making sure that you are paying attention to the patterns. Is this a pattern that is continuing onward and onward? These are the things we absolutely have to focus on. The last question is, Brian, how do I take a stand with my books if I have a desire to make sure that I am fulfilling my ethics, doing what I want to do, making sure people know where I stand, but still maybe making money from Amazon? I think a lot of it comes down to connecting with your readers. I have seen so many posts on both sides of the aisle of authors connecting with their readers. And I don't know if it's right or wrong to say what your political leanings are to your readers. I know people who've lost readers. I know people who've gained readers by doing this. But if you are going to stay on Amazon, you're going to stay in Kindle Unlimited, but you don't feel great about it, it's absolutely something you can talk to your readers about if you want to go there. I don't know if everybody should go there, but it is definitely something I am seeing happening on social media more recently. If you don't want to do that, you don't want to share kind of what you're going through with your readers, then connect with them. Connect with your readers, talk to your readers, talk one-on-one to your readers. Remember, it's not just about gotta catch them all. This isn't Pokemon. You can have one-on-one conversations with your readers. You can talk to people. And people is how we get out of this thing. Giant conglomerates, giant governments, giant whatever. We need to talk to people. We need to individually connect with our people. This is how you build community. This is how you make change happen. This is how you grow as an author. It is about that community. It is about connecting with folks. We have done this 619 consecutive weeks because we love it. We love connecting with you guys. We love reaching you guys where you are listening. And I'm very excited to continue doing this for many, many, many episodes into the future. And I hope that you appreciate us taking this kind of sideways direction on this episode. As a reminder, we run ads for people. You can email us at authoradAgency@gmail.com or brian@sellingforauthors.com. We run ads for people, and we love doing it. We love helping people with this. We have a free class coming up on February 26th, How to Sell More Books from the Ground Up. You can go get the link at sellmorebookshow.com. We need a question of the week here, which is, do you think that you are going to make any changes because of the KU payout drop? Do you think that you are going to make any changes because of the KU, I'll call it the unexpected KU payout drop, even though we maybe should have expected it, which is okay. So let us know in sellmorebookshow.com or at the Sell More Book Show After Party Facebook group. I am so glad that we got a chance to chat today. I'm really excited that we have the opportunity every single week to deliver this content to you. Thank you so much for your support. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. And we will be back next week with hopefully fewer technical difficulties for episode 620. Bye, everybody.